Congratulations! Your gift of a new day is here. Ready to live it big? You're listening to the Big Life Devotional Podcast. Now, here's Pamela to get you fired up for all God has available for you today.
Well, good morning, beautiful. Welcome to a brand new day of life. Happy Tuesday, my friends. Gosh, I am so excited that you're here with us today. Thank you for tuning in. Well, I have a fantastic devotional for you. Let me give you a little behind the scenes. This week, I sent a text message to all of the girls that I get to mentor, kind of the inner circle of Big Life, called Big Life Mentoring. And I asked them, what do you most need to hear in a devotional, in a teaching this week? And I took note of hundreds of answers, and today I'm addressing the most common request. And if within the group of a couple hundred girls that I get to mentor, this is their most common request, I would assume in the group of thousands, millions listening around the world, then hey, this would probably be a pretty popular request for you too. The title of today's episode of the Big Life Devotional Podcast is Know His Voice. Jesus said in John 10, verse 27, "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me." Here's what Jesus didn't say. He didn't say only a select few, super spiritual, get to hear my voice. No, he said, my sheep listen to my voice. Jesus calls himself our good shepherd. What does that mean? Well, in ancient Israel, a shepherd wasn't just the owner of sheep. A shepherd was the one who lived with the sheep. His entire life was dedicated to his sheep. He slept near them at night. He protected them from danger. He led them to green pastures to eat and water to drink. The shepherd of this day knew each one of his sheep individually. He knew which one was stubborn. He knew which one was prone to wander. He knew which one would lollygag and get lost. He also knew the dilly-dallyer that would inevitably get stuck in a ditch somewhere. And a shepherd wasn't like a cattle rancher driving a herd from behind. A shepherd led from the front, and the sheep followed him. And my friends, that's our Jesus. He could have called himself anything. He could have called himself the general of the army of followers, but he didn't. He could have called himself king. He could have given himself a crown of immeasurable value. But instead, he chose to be a shepherd to his sheep, to stay lovingly close. Shepherds in Jesus' day would often bring their sheep into a communal sheep pen at night, so all these different flocks would be together. Several flocks together in one place with one gatekeeper watching over them. And the next morning, multiple shepherds would come to collect their sheep. There weren't separate sections. They weren't color-coded. The shepherd simply called for his sheep. And his sheep got up and followed him. The other sheep that belonged to the other shepherds didn't move. Can you imagine the noise? Hundreds of sheep, multiple shepherds calling out, "Hey, sheep, come here, sheep." And yet somehow each sheep knew which voice belonged to the one they trusted. They knew because they had heard it thousands of times before. They learned their shepherd's tone, their shepherd's call, their shepherd's character. Their shepherd was not a stranger to them, but the other voices were. A shepherd would continually speak to his flock while leading them. He wanted his sheep to know his voice, so if they wandered, they could return when they heard him. A study was once done testing a flock of sheep to see how they recognized their own shepherd above anyone else trying to call them. Thinking perhaps it was the scent of their clothes or their appearance, they dressed another man in the shepherd's clothing and had him call to the flock of sheep. And they would not listen. But their own shepherd in completely different clothing could call out, and all the sheep would come running to his side. There was one thing they recognized, one thing they followed: his voice. Now, Jesus doesn't say that his sheep will always make the right decisions. Sheep are generally rather ignorant, and they continually get themselves into predicaments where only their shepherd can rescue them. But what matters is his sheep know his voice. They know when he calls. They know when he directs. But I know the question we all have: do I really hear God's voice? Am I good enough to know when it's him guiding me? Do you ask yourself that question? How do I know if it's him? Well, you see, the sheep has no qualification here. The sheep just naturally know. The work is of the shepherd. The sheep simply listen. And isn't that our problem? Sometimes we're simply not listening. We live in a world that is so busy and so loud that we can't hear our shepherd. We are so quick to turn to anyone and anything that might give us immediate answers. We'll turn on a podcast, we'll call a friend, we'll look for some supernatural sign. We will seek anything for a little guidance, but we won't get still. We won't get quiet. We won't just sit with our shepherd and be close. So we miss it. Can we hear him? Yes, we are sheep. And the one thing we have the ability to do is hear our shepherd. We don't have the ability to figure things out on our own. We don't have the ability to navigate our own way. We don't have the ability to fix or change things, but we do have the ability to listen and hear the voice that guides us. But we often don't because we're not. We're not still. We're not quiet. We're not waiting for his voice. And here's what we often do. God, speak to me. Tell me what to do. While God is perhaps saying, would you please just spend time with me? Did that just hit you? God's saying, girl, would you just spend time with me instead of looking for your quick fix? Would you just spend time with me? When an audible voice becomes more important than a close relationship, we've missed the point. The sheep weren't just wanting the voice of their shepherd to make them feel confident. The sheep wanted the closeness of their shepherd because it was their way of life. What if instead of asking God to speak to us, we begin by saying, God, I just want to draw near to you. The goal isn't to get better at hearing voices. The goal is to spend so much time with Jesus that you become familiar with him. And when you're familiar with him, you'll know his ways, you'll know his rhythm. And when he speaks, you'll know it's him. Relationship produces recognition. Ask anyone who truly receives the promptings of the Lord and his clear directions, and I guarantee you they have a relationship built from a foundation of time spent with God. When you spend time with the shepherd, you become familiar with his voice and you won't be fooled by other voices, including your own. Relationship changes our ability to recognize him. Our good shepherd says in John 10, verse 5, "My sheep will never follow a stranger. In fact, they will run away from him because they do not recognize a stranger's voice." But that's our problem right there. We have spent too much time with strange voices. We've wandered off into flocks we don't belong in with shepherds who are not our own. So we've gotten confused. The voice of the world is no longer a stranger to us. It is so familiar that we don't even run from it. Because y'all, social media is loud. Our own voice of fear and shame and comparison has been listened to so often that it's just normal for us to do the stupid stuff our own mind comes up with. We have crowded out the voice of our shepherd. That's why we're confused. So what do? Turn off the noise. Get back to your shepherd. Where do you find your shepherd? Verse 4 tells us, when he has brought out all his own, he goes on ahead of them, and his sheep follow him because they know his voice. So where is he? He's ahead of you. Look forward. Don't look back. Don't wander in circles. He is in front of you, making a way, clearing the path for you. Wherever you're walking today, Jesus has already been there. This isn't about asking Jesus to hurry up and catch up with you. This is about looking up and seeing where he is in front of you. What if today we changed our prayers a bit? What if today we prayed, Jesus, where are you already going? Because I simply want to follow you. You ever prayed that? Jesus, where are you going today? I just want to follow you. It isn't about my own bright ideas and what I want to do. And hey, by the way, here's what I'm thinking. Will you co-sign this and stamp it with your approval? No, Jesus, where are you already going? Because I just want to follow you. It's never about the sheep charting their own way. Sheep aren't bucket list destination diving out there. Okay? They are following where the shepherd leads and finding the most perfect green pastures along the way to enjoy. The shepherd was already going great places. The sheep simply had to follow. I assure you, your good shepherd is going to better places than you have ever imagined. His plans are higher, better, and bigger than your human/sheep mind could ever dream up. If you will just follow him, you will get to experience the most beautiful things this life has to offer. Part of my daily mantra this year is I'm following God into wild, faith-filled spaces I could never reach on my own. If we'll just follow Jesus, he will take us into some wild, faith-filled spaces you could never get to on your own. Jesus, where are you already going? I simply want to follow you. Are you already going over here to this new job opportunity? I want to follow you. If you have something else in mind, then Jesus, I don't want to wander off into fields of my own. I want to just stay close to you. I've decided I'm just following Jesus. His voice is heard when I stay close. His voice is heard when I'm still and I'm quiet. When I stay close, I don't have to wake up every morning worrying if the voice I'm hearing is my shepherd. Is that where you're at? You're like, wait, what's this voice? I don't know what this voice is. Okay, if you're close, you know. But if you've been scrolling all night, watching countless videos, reading the posts of strangers, then you're probably pretty confused. When you draw close to strangers, it's their voices that call you. Girl, get yourself back to Jesus. Stay close to him. That is truly your answer. Shut everything else out. The sheep don't follow because they understand everything. They follow because they trust the one who is speaking. We tend to put all this pressure on ourselves. Like, what if I miss him? Like, what if I make the wrong decision? What if I'm making this up? Oh my gosh, am I just making this up? Oh, while Jesus is saying, I'm a shepherd. This is what I do. I'm good at my job, trust me. He knows how to lead sheep. He isn't intimidated by stubborn sheep. Are you a stubborn sheep? He isn't surprised by wandering sheep. Are you a wandering sheep? He's not surprised by you. He isn't confused by lost sheep. You know what he'll do? He'll go find you, girl. That's his specialty. The pressure isn't on the sheep to become brilliant navigators. The pressure is off because we have a brilliant shepherd. The shepherd is speaking to you. He's calling you to just go where he goes. Decide now you simply want to follow your shepherd. Friends, perhaps you have made hearing God's voice far more complicated than Jesus ever intended. He didn't say his sheep would have extraordinary wisdom. He didn't say his sheep would never wander. He didn't say his sheep would always make the right decisions. He simply said his sheep would know his voice. If you've wandered, come back. He's calling you. If you've grown confused, come back. If you've filled your mind with strangers' voices, come back. He's not disappointed that you're returning. He's a shepherd. This is what he does. He goes before you. He calls your name. He lovingly leads. And all he's asking of you today is what sheep have always done. Simply follow. Jesus, where are you already going? I simply want to follow you. Could that be your prayer today? You don't have to know all the details. It doesn't have to make sense. Would you just be still, be quiet, spend time with God today, and let your genuine prayer be, where are you already going, Jesus? I simply want to follow you there. You want to pray that with me right now? Like for real. Let's just make that our prayer today. That's it. Ready? Jesus, where are you already going? I simply want to follow you. That's it. I don't have to understand it. I don't have to see the full picture. I just want to follow you. Wherever you are already going, I am looking forward. I am looking ahead because I know that's where you are. And I follow you today. In your name, amen. All right. How uncomfortable is it for you to sit in quiet and still? It's really hard for me, man. I like to turn on some music. I like noise. I like distraction. You ever notice that you become addicted to that? And it's really hard to hear the shepherd's voice when we won't be still and we won't be quiet. So if you're really needing to hear from him today, and I know many of you are, you've messaged me, you've told me, I just need to hear God's voice. I just need to know. I need to know how to hear him. Well, there it is. Turn everything else off. Be still. Be quiet. Get in relationship with him. Trust him. Jesus, where are you already going? I simply want to follow you. All right. So simple, but not so simple to do, huh? All All right, my friends, thanks for joining me today. I love you wildly. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye, everybody.
You were created for a big life. We'll help you do it. Join us each weekday for a new Big Life devotional podcast. If you're ready to dive into the big life way of living, visit our website at biglifehq.com.